Mountains, those majestic guardians of our landscapes. But what if I told you that some of them aren't mountains at all? What if they're just giant tree stumps? Yeah, I know, it sounds kind of crazy and like something your conspiracy-loving uncle would bring up at Thanksgiving. But hear me out, there might be more to this than just idle speculation. So here are the 10 reasons why some mountains might just be really, really big tree stumps. Let's climb the ladder. Number 10, flat top mountains or mesas look suspiciously like giant stumps. Geologists will tell you that mesas form due to erosion. Sure, wind, rain, time, they carve away at the landscape, leaving these flat top formations behind. It's a very convenient explanation. But does it make sense? Doesn't it make more sense if someone just took a cosmic chainsaw and went to town? Imagine, if you will, a lumberjack on a scale so vast they could fell trees the size of a small country. Look at the similarities here. Flat top, sheer sides. Coincidence or a cover-up? You decide. These mesas standing tall in the desert aren't just geological oddities, they're potentially the remnants of something far greater. Number 9, Devil's Tower, the world's most suspicious mountain. Okay, let's talk about Devil's Tower, famously used in the promo ads for Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. If that's a natural formation, then I'm the Queen of England. It has the perfect bark-like texture, flat top, and it looks exactly like someone just forgot to remove a giant tree stump after a good round of planetary landscaping. And how would lava form perfect shapes? A little sus. Number 8, basalt columns look like tree rings. Convenient. This is Ireland's giant causeway. You know how trees have growth rings? Well, some mountains have these neat hexagonal basalt columns. So either Mother Nature's been playing Minecraft for the last few millennia, or there used to be trees with some seriously well-organized fibers. Just look at these incredibly structured columns. Were these actually alive and based on something other than carbon? One thing is very clear, there is no way a volcanic eruption could form these perfect lines. Compare the inside of a tree trunk, and there is a resemblance, right?
I found it.
What?
I found it. The undeniable proof.
What are you talking about?
Here, look at this. You see the tree rings, right? The ancient colossal tree rings. You see the patterns? They match. They match a giant's thumbprint. It's got to be all connected.
Giant thumb. Well, while I appreciate your digging and looking into things, this doesn't even look like a thumbprint, let alone a giant's thumbprint.
It's giants. I knew it.
You're going to have to excuse him a little bit today. He's not having a good mood, and not to mention he's on the wrong episode. Number 7, volcanic plugs look exactly like cut logs. This one's too easy. Geologists say volcanic plugs are hardened magma that outlasted the surrounding rock. This is Shiprock, New Mexico. And that looks an awful lot like a tree stump, no? And if you zoom out, it almost looks like the felled tree is still there. But hey, it could have been a volcano that poured lava in a weirdly straight line. Then again, they look just like giant logs left behind when the world's tallest lumberjack decided to retire. Hey look, I'm not saying Paul Bunyan was a real dude, but I'm also not saying it. Number 6, real giant trees were mostly cut down. Why not bigger ones? We used to have trees that made our current redwoods look like houseplants. Look at the size of these monsters. And there are still huge trees present today. Some of these trees weigh millions of pounds. So if we had trees bigger than the ones we can see today, just a couple of centuries ago, why is it so crazy to think we had even bigger ones long ago? Maybe they were cut down before history was even recorded. There's also the theory that oxygen levels have consistently dropped over the years, and more oxygen means bigger plants, including trees. Number 5, root-like patterns in rock layers. That's suspicious. Some mountains have root-like structures in the rocks layers. Now, I'm no geologist. Actually, I'm glad I'm no geologist because they're taught things that make no sense, and rocks aren't really my thing. That being said, doesn't that look exactly like petrified tree roots? I might be crazy, and my wife would say yes. Yes, he is. But these are a little too similar if you ask me. So either Mother Nature is just trolling us at this point, or maybe, just maybe, this whole rocks or tree stump things has some legs. Let us know in the comments. Number 4, myths of the world tree and gigantic flora. Ancient myths are full of stories about gigantic trees that held up the sky. It's a pretty weird coincidence for cultures that were thousands of miles apart with no internet to swap crazy theories. Were they all just making stuff up? Or were they just writing about the massive trees they actually saw? Isn't it more likely they were just recording history? People making up something so outrageous, especially with a similar story emerging all over the earth from wildly divergent people, seems unlikely. Number 3, broken branch effect. Mountains fracture like snapped wood. You ever see a broken felled tree? Now look at this mountain. Interesting similarity, huh? Now that looks pretty darn close to me, but I can see conspiracies in the clouds, so don't trust my judgment. Scientists will tell you it's just erosion, but the examples here are in dirt and clay. We're talking the erosion of rocks. I have a hard time believing that the erosion of rocks to this extent could happen in a few hundred years. What do you think? Drop it in the comments. Number 2, the Grand Canyon, a giant quarry? Okay, let's talk about the Grand Canyon. Geologists say it was carved by the Colorado River. And sure it was. It just took a long time, or so they say. I will readily admit that water can carve out dirt and clay, but solid rock to this extent just seems unlikely to me. This is a bucket wheel excavator, one of the largest mining machines in existence. You see the marks it's making? They just happen to look like the marks in the Grand Canyon. Was it a river? Or did someone just, mine the planet, take all the good stuff, and leave with the loot? Number 1, what if the whole planet was a forest? Think about it. What if Earth wasn't always rolling hills and flat plains? What if once upon a time it was covered in megatrees that made today's forests look like a garden? And then someone or something chopped them all down for whatever reason. If that's the case, then mountains aren't mountains at all. They're just the leftovers of a long forgotten forest the size of a planet, or perhaps something even more amazing. It's unlikely we'll ever know. Okay, it's probably impossible to know, but it sure is fun to speculate, right? So, that is some theory, huh? What do you think? Are these mountains just rocks formed into linear shapes by lava flow? Or were they once the mighty trees of the past Earth? If you found this interesting, hit that like button and subscribe because we're just getting started. Oh, and leave a comment below if you have a particular topic you want us to cover. And remember, until next time, keep climbing. And in the morning, I'm making waffles.